Welcome to case 2. Apparently this time around I'm supposed to have emotional damage. Yeah, it works for me, man.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing
Sholmes, as opposed to
furiously with his
Sherlock
cane
Holmes?
at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?"
I'll be ready for
he yelled,
Sag.
his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band.
The speckled band.
I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson.
You know when you're playing SM64, got a time
In front of us was an
correct for wall
enormous
jumps and
adder.
triple jumps. Yeah,
Its fangs
and with delay,
bared
hell, that's
as
annoying.
it
Oh
threatened
yeah.
to strike. It truly
There's
was
also
the
like
most
the natural
terrible
delay you get from
speckled
just the
band
port
I
itself.
had
So
ever
it's
seen.
that delay plus your capture card delay. I'm curious how you're playing off. You're playing directly off the TV, right? You're not going through the monitor on your OBS, I hope, right? On the board of the steamship Booyah. All right. Why are we on a steamship? I thought we weren't going anywhere.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle.
Repeat that?
A Russian word.
Basically,
So the victim was a
I hope
Russian
you're not
now.
playing directly off
And the
the.
letters
Sorry,
on the
there's a lot of
floor
clues going across my screen right
suggesting
now.
He was compos mentis at the time.
Akeru na.
Extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same
I will
hand as
repeat it
this
there
message.
right after this.
In fact, I
I'm just
deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
What the fuck is he doing?
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Someone's in there.
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
Da! No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
It's not the killer.
Don't be absurd.
The same thing happened in Eye of the Somnium Files,
And it
man.
cabin locked from inside.
But
Yes,
you have
a locked room.
the lag
But
introduced
that
from the
mystery is a
console.
paper thing.
Sholmes the Legend.
You-
That was
you don't
sealed.
mean the
That means that
culprit is in
person
there?
couldn't get out. Like, why are you removing that?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world.
If anything, the
Sherlock
seal
Holmes.
on the door makes the
I
person
presume-
inside innocent.
You must have heard of me.
We can't assume they're the killer. Okay, anyways. Okay, there's a natural lag that you're getting from Mario 64 anyway. So, like, if you're on the N64, naturally, onto a regular monitor, the old CRT, you're going to have virtually no lag, maybe a frame or two, right? When you do something like that. That's why they want frame perfect inputs. When you swap to the Switch version or the version you're using, even just by the act of switching to that, you're introducing lag. So there's already lag just by the Switch. Even if you have the fastest 1 frame per second HDMI TV, you're going to have lag on your 64. And then you have the lag introduced with the capture card when it passes through, right? So that means might be audio delay. Like when I was playing when I was playing Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, when we had that insidious lag, we were doing all those tests. That's the lag introduced to the capture card. If you're playing through the capture card onto your OBS screen, like specifically the Streamlabs OBS screen, like here, you're gonna have a lot more lag. This has been my TED Talk. This is delay, not lag. It's on any game. Yeah, it's your capture card. So the only way I can think of fixing it is I'm just gonna add a new scene real quick, and at least you can hear me. Display capture. There's my display. Transform, stretch to screen, and then we're gonna add the game here. Add. So there's my screen, and we're just gonna add the not game, video capture device. Add source. There's me. There's the Aver. You had to like right click on your system here. Let me put that somewhere a little better. Like up right here, right click, and then you're gonna go to. I don't know how to make it any better. You're going to go to not filters, edit filters, add filter. There's hold on, video preset. I know there's a button for this. Properties, FPS, color range, audio output mode, configure video, if I'm correct. I don't want to mess with my current one, but okay, that one actually, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. There is a button. I'm pretty sure it was a filter. Add a filter. Filter type, render delay. And then you will add delay to your video to match your sound. Close. I don't want there to be actual delay. Okay. Welcome back. My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. We spent 2 of our minutes not even doing the case. It's going to be a long case. So we're on a ship. Don't tell me we were inside it. Wait, I can't move. Ah, fuck, we were inside it. Ah, what the... Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You. Huh. You found me then. Duh. We found you. And now you pay? Criminal. How long are you hiding in a tiny wardrobe, huh? Sorry? Now you have been found, it is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, Yeah. There's only one thing my head's kind of throbbing that way. One thing I'd like to know from you. Move the chat over here. Also, red text doesn't do it any justice either. We're going back to awkward green. Okay, isn't that... Hey! Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Whose life? Miss Susato. Wait. What did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You pretend you do not know. You're a wolf in a sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama was... No! Discovered not long ago. He's very calm about it. Here in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body. Please. Not try to tell us what you're doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. Wait, that sucks. Kazuma, it was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Ha 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 ha. Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? He forced him to England. It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. We fit inside that. Now it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotaba, you mean? From your close friend. More to the point, surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. Anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper? What? And I can stick it over there in the wardrobe door once you're inside. I don't know. Still the matter of feeding him. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We leave you at the next port. Stay quiet until then. Do not make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I am not a murderer. Da, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Sato-san. Please tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there's something I would like to ask of you, too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. Suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window. The bolt of the door can't be opened from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these 4 walls. Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? I'm falling asleep, but we'll leave alert mode on. Thanks, Chico. Please, Sato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Can anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please, whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, and as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I couldn't sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Sasada-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. Okay. I'm just gonna look at this message for a second. The two P's on there are different in some sort of way. Like the second P is much sharper. If that makes sense. Also, one thing I noticed in Japan, they don't have commas like we do. Instead, it's represented by like an L bracket like that, right? So that the L brackets are actually the quotes. So maybe he was trying to say a saying or something like that. AP, what looks like a triangle, could be delta, epsilon. I don't know what the sigma character for P is. Phi, I'm pretty sure. Phi, 0, and what looks like that last character is probably what's going to give it away. Or it could be some form of Russian, because we are on a Russian boat. The white tape is actually exactly where it was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe for me, too. Trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board the ship? Naruhodo-san. You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yeah, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you. Oh, she's gonna be pissed. But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go such extreme lengths to smuggle me into England with you? Smuggle me in. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since he ended that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of the cultural development center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if we were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing, that he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. Something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Maybe he was planning to do a switcheroo. I don't know. Sasada-san, I'm sorry that was kept in secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yeah. We're perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into the wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really. I do. But it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. For some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Sada-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. Then I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hiya. Rip. You tried, sir. You tried. What the? That was a Susato takedown. All right. Susato, what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it. Yes, you're innocent. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in the court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful. Yeah, it's a paper.
Yes!
The papers. Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep there. Just in case the cabin steward and another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the door on my own. This is what I mentioned first. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. But I will say it's easier to trick a paper being shut than it is to trick a metal door. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor. I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you. Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Now, I'm enjoying the upside-down view. Well, in the light of the evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me. I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. Man, I'm really thinking on the ball right now. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using a conjuring trick to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, she can take him down anyways. Well, anyway, I should make a start investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. We're gonna do a lot of examining first here. So we can talk to the sewer here. This is where Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. Looks as though the last entry was incomplete. Which means he was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened. Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya. Oh, come on! That's out of the question. Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright. I think I'm getting used to seeing upside down. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter? Sasada-san. Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard. Are you, Naruhodo-san? Yeah, I was trying to do this. I'm sure you're careful to look all around using D-pad. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Alright, so it looks like there's more shit to do on the left. I'm gonna go more shit to do on the right, so I'm gonna do the left first. The beds are not important. We have this. I need to figure this as a point of entry. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. We're on a ship. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough. Or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it. Oh, I'm so glad it gives you a check mark. Thank you. I'm just theorizing right now. When I want to help a crewman force the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin. That's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and a thread and draw a bolt across from the side of the room. In a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and this frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There'd be no possibility of using that needle in the thread trick here, I'm afraid. I hate that they just disproved my theory. They just disproved my way of exit. Damn it. There's another trick. If she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. My thought... I want to see the other room, but... We have a trophy there that's kind of bent down, but let's look at the, this part here. Yeah, this is a bellboard cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in the book I was studying that talked about the life of Great Britain. Large households like this often have bell cords like this, which you can pull a ring to bell with summon service. Really, that sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. One more time. Suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone's busy. That's all. investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Nodohodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Back wall? I doubt it. I doubt there's a back wall. I think there is a trick to actually open it. And last night was no exception. Because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. I have another theory on how he got out. Alright. Elementary theory number 2. We have the stand here with a katana and like a book on it and whatnot. What if the bolt was already broken and it was shut and this was blocking the door? They broke it and naturally the thing tumbled over behind the door and then they thought it was the bolt opening. Because you have to have a lot of guys to do that shit, which means, yeah. A very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's a lot actually how I stowed away on the vessel. I brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says this way up, in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Yeah, but the thing is, it's like when you're pushing on a door, right? They had to literally push the door open, and the weakest screw gave in, right? Chances are there might have been noise on the way in. Like, we didn't see more about that moment when it happened. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. That was, like, I watch a show called Detective Conan a lot, and there was a locked door mystery that was solved like that. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea, although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. I wonder if... Perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, don't you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'm just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Let's talk to the guy. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He convinced you're guilty. You might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yet. Of course not. Now, back to the corner room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. These are rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be here. Susato just tampered with the scene. That's... yeah, I noticed. Well, he's... not Susato. Kazuma did. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yeah, he was always saying the Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on his trip. Suppose that just shows how important it was to him. And how he's gone. And now I'm ready to let his spirit go just yet. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on the earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Correct something. Ta-da something. Seigi in Japanese for the word. Oh yeah, truth. Say. Brushstrokes are straight into the truth, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet you, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on his ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama, no doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. Suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments. Was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? Russian. Pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be a European. Oh, how did he? You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall, suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And he's investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it? Or does Susato-san almost look uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, press A on people when they're in the crosshairs. Converse with him. Alright then, I'll get to that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Please do. Sumimasen. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Is it now? Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope they haven't kept you long. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry. What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Well, that's true at least. But, how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. How you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madame. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bereaved occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. And just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. You see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims who is me. I don't even have one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. Susato, I had more respect for you. It is greatly diminishing. What? And you're plotting a revolution too? Shameful behavior, not a homicide. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Explain yourself, tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do that? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament? Do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Huh. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women around the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same, the inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. I see you're jamming. Do you know this man, Sasada-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really, why don't I feel uneasy about this? What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken it clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. Looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener for a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabinet. I investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. So, you're the great detective, are you? Sorry, but what's your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German. Sherlock, was it? No, I have no her. I have hair. Please call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Brown's Magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not that poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in a magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping a shop in London. Dr. Wilson. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, at this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really, I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science. Really? The acute observer notices the most subtle of reactions in its subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of the muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are all data. Right. And then the trained logician makes deductions from the state in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago, how could he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both observation and for deduction and fame. That's what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It is none other than the great detective before you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Fishy. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Sholmes, was on board. And then the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ugh. The very moment I laid eyes on the scenes, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Sholmes, tell us please, what two facts were apparent when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. I'll believe you, Shiro. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering an escape without the culprit without the question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. So the perpetrator is most likely Russian. Whoever that is. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderob maybe the name of a killer, a certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of the thoughtfulness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least, where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you. The renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. Does this guy not know what Japanese people look like? As if my memory serves, the outfit is traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are traditional dress of Russian people. I had no idea. Oh, I'm getting a headache! God, he's such an idiot! I took a photograph of the victim in the message and I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma was taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. My thoughts are, someone intended to kill Kazuma by feeding him some sort of meal. When the meal was brought, both parts of the meal, the chicken and the other part, maybe he put something in the drink or something like that. But maybe the chicken was the thing that was tampered with. And so that would make Naruhodo fall asleep. And then he came in, and then... No, they both had to ingest it because there's no external injuries. Put both to sleep, realized there's two people in this room sleeping. Put the one in the wardrobe and shut it. And then completely kill Kazuma right in Russian and point him to the wardrobe and you got the perfect laying game. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, thank you. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Yeah, that's why I immediately backed off the chicken. But if it was the chicken tampered with, that would mean that only Naruhodo would fall asleep. What gray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? if it interests you. He speaks Russian too? How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your document before? The things you conclude about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other detail that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassinate 16 part. Ah yes, the more sordid details. It was fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have the morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary violent Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night, the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? Sounds like Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reading to realize the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary, one who would kill the very man who helped them escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Violent Bolshevik. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face! Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about for other details? The 16 victims of assassination are blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of self-reverse activities of war torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that has interested me with its pages, but I see the rubbish bin nearby. And you may find an article on the back page of interest as well. On the back. Cast your eyes over it sometime if interest takes you, though it may need some time for someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Is this interesting? Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you noticed this article. Ah. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. It pops up everywhere this time. About the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of Novanich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? Wait, Pavlov? And remember the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. 20,000 rubles is a fuck ton. Oh, and how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Sada's eyes were shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of Novovich Ballet. It would seem that the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Pavlina and the valuable tiara. Yeah, they've requested international assistance at all ports and sailings in Great Britain. Could this be another case of Russian fleeing in his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with response. Mr. Naruhodo. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma. Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of a trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic, and something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? Sorry, Naruhodo-san, what on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear that one final sentence is incomplete after the author, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise to the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. I trust you're suitably impressed. Huh. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So he can't read kanji. So what was all that showing off about before then? If you'd be so kind to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Susato-san, you bitch!